Welcome back to Pokemon episode summaries. Today, I'll be doing episode 21, Bye Bye Butterfree. After the events of the last episode, Ash and the gang are heading to their next destination of Saffron City, and when they approach a cliff, Brock cites it as a landmark on his map, using it as evidence that they've almost reached their destination, so we'll finally have another gym battle episode soon. But then, the gang see a whole bunch of Butterfree fly over this cliff, with Ash questioning why they were doing so. Brock reveals that it's currently Butterfree's mating season, so they were all looking for partners. Ash then realizes that he'll have to let his Butterfree mate as well, not wanting to interrupt its mating season. So, the gang go in the hot air balloon, and Ash sends out his Butterfree to go mate, as they watch in amazement at the multitude of Butterfree in the air. Ash's Butterfree, much like Brock, isn't doing too well finding someone to pick up, and Brock states that it may be because no other Butterfree matches its exact type. So, that either means Ash's Butterfree has insane standards, or they're, like, predetermined to go with a Butterfree with a certain wingspan or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it means. Of course, Brock's the expert too. Like, oh, maybe the reason he's not doing well is this. Like, shut up, Brock. You never picked up a girl in your life. But anyways, tangent over. The gang then noticed that a whole bunch of other trainers are releasing their Butterfree as well, with Brock seeing a beautiful girl. Brock instantly falls head over heels with her, being the simp that he is, and suggests that Butterfree go mate with that girl's Butterfree, so as that would give Brock a chance to meet the girl, and maybe they could fall in love just as their Butterfree did. Misty instantly slaps Brock across the head for this, demanding that he doesn't try and force any of his desires onto the Butterfree, reminding the Butterfree that it has free will and it should choose who it wants to date. Motivated by Misty's words, the Butterfree tries yet again to find a mate, and becomes instantly attracted to a pink Butterfree, trying to strut its stuff by dancing around it and doing the signature mating moves. Ash, Brock, and Misty watch and hope that Butterfree's successful, but Butterfree gets his fucking face slapped. Oh, that's cold hard rejection, man. I wonder who's had a worse rejection at this point, Butterfree or Brock. Butterfree can't stand the rejection and embarrassment, so flies off into the forest, leaving Ash and the gang to concertedly run after it and try and find it in the forest. Eventually, they do manage to come across it, crying its eyes out by a tree. Brock mentions how bad he feels for the Butterfree, noticing a fellow simp in pain, leading Misty to mock him, when he claims he could write a whole book about pain. Pikachu then tries to comfort Butterfree, as Ash, Misty, and Brock try and think of a way to help it attract the mate that it wants so bad. Ash tries to find some information in the Pokédex about it, thinking maybe it knew about certain types of Butterfree and what they liked for partners, but Misty states that you can't learn shit about love from a textbook. Ash finally comes up with the idea to just have Butterfree use all of its moves and try and impress him with that, with Misty agreeing, stating how you had to be forceful if you were in love, encouraging him to give it all he has with his moves and not chicken out at all. Brock claims that he didn't know that you had to be assertive. But, I mean, come on, man. You're the most assertive guy in the whole show. You look for women at every chance you get, man. Brock then decides to help out the Butterfree even more by tying a scarf around its neck. Oh yeah, that'll bring up its riz. Well, I guess we will see if it will, as Butterfree returns to the sky and Ash and Misty and Brock watch with binoculars as it tries again, using its moves Tackle and Whirlwind to attempt to wow the pink Butterfree. Ash knows how cool these moves are, so Butterfree's riz should be effective, right? Well, womp womp. Butterfree is rejected once again, and to make matters worse, Team Rocket then shows up and tries to capture all of the Butterfree. But Butterfree, wanting to prove that it's useful in some way, attempts to take out Team Rocket on its own after Ash and the gang fail to convince Team Rocket to stop. Because, I mean, why would Ash and the gang have even tried that? They're obviously not going to stop. They haven't stopped any of their other schemes. Anyways, Butterfree attempts to free the rest of the Butterfree, which have been successfully captured by Team Rocket on its own, by utilizing both tackles and stun spores, but it fails miserably, unfortunately, bruising its ego even more, man. Damn. Ash decides that sending out Pidgeotto would be the best call, but Misty advises him against it, stating that Butterfree's feelings would just be hurt even more, if that was even possible. Like, I don't even think that's possible at this point. Butterfree's taken so many L's. Without Pidgeotto, though, there's no one else to stop Team Rocket, so they're able to fly away in their helicopter. Butterfree continues on after the helicopter, despite none of its attacks being effective before. Determined to prove itself, Ash, Misty, and Brock follow it in their hot air balloon to a canyon, and they scream for it, looking for it urgently. It doesn't take long for them to find the Butterfree, who's been doing some reconnaissance, knowing where Team Rocket has decided to hide their capture, being a warehouse in the middle of the canyon. Team Rocket looks at their capture evilly, proud of actually doing something successful for once. Meowth is so proud of himself that he thinks that Giovanni might even accept him as the primary cat, as opposed to that stupid-ass Persian. But then, Team Rocket's parade is rained on, as Ash, Misty, and Brock break into the warehouse, mocking Team Rocket's motto in the process, much to their annoyance. Ash and the gang then begin their assault to free the other Butterfree, with Ash commanding Butterfree to go on ahead, as they distract Team Rocket. Misty helps distract Team Rocket by sending out her Starmie. while Butterfree is able to use its tackle on the net to eventually free all the other Butterfree, much to the admiration of the pink Butterfree. Finally, Butterfree was getting somewhere. Misty had her Starmie chase Team Rocket with a tackle to distract them. Distraction definitely works, as Jessie uses a whole hammer to be able to counter the Starmie, which does do some serious damage, but Misty's able to re-energize it when she manages to spray it with some water. Now, I don't know where the fuck she got that water pack from, but she's a water gym leader, don't question it. Brock then opens up the warehouse door and lets all the now freed Butterfree escape, as Team Rocket fails to recapture them with their tiny-ass nets. James tries to recapture the pink Butterfree in particular, and honestly, I would too, as that thing's a shiny, like, that's rare. But Butterfree saves it in time with its tackle, which impresses the pink Butterfree even more. Let's go, Butterfree, finally, you're getting more wins than W's. With all of the Butterfree now having escaped the warehouse, Team Rocket's only option is to go back into their helicopter and chase after them yet again. Ash and the gang follow them, quickly catching up to the helicopter. When they do, Butterfree sees another opportunity to impress the pink Butterfree and lets Pikachu hop on his back as they head straight for the helicopter. The pink Butterfree watches as Butterfree and Pikachu launch their assault, Pikachu using Thundershock on the helicopter. This destroys it and sends Team Rocket flying down into the crevice of the canyon. With Team Rocket dealt with, Butterfree and Pikachu happily return to the hot air balloon. With Butterfree's plan having worked, having impressed the pink Butterfree immensely, so much so that the pink Butterfree initiates the dance of love, indicating that it wanted to be with it, meaning that Butterfree does in fact have Riz, and Butterfree is better at picking up women than Brock, confirmed. The two Butterfree then head off back to the cliff where the mating happens, indicating that it was time for them to set off. Despite being nothing but happy for Butterfree's epic Riz before, Ash is now sad, depressed that he has to release his first Pokémon. Butterfree's sad as well, and is only made even more sad when Pikachu tearfully waves goodbye to him. But this all causes Ash to wipe away his tears, realizing that this is what was best for Butterfree, and he needed to make sure that Butterfree knew this. He waves goodbye, wiping the tears from his face, and reminds the pink Butterfree to take care of Butterfree. Before Ash says his true final goodbye, he recalls all of his memories with Butterfree, including when he first met him as a Caterpie, when he evolved into a Metapod immediately after, and when he evolved into Butterfree during the whole situation with the Beedrill and the Samurai. He also recalls Butterfree in the cave with the scientist, eating Brock's Pokemon food, and its battle with Misty for the Cascade Badge, probably its best moment, even though it wasn't that successful. Ash, rejuvenated by all these happy memories, reminds himself not to be sad, and wishes Butterfree good luck as he heads into the sunset. Brock then commends Ash on raising his Butterfree very successfully, raising it with a lot of courage. This was truly a milestone moment for Ash, man. This is such an iconic episode. His first capture was now gone, ready to move on with the next stage of its life, with the love of its life. Unlike Brock,